Okay, here's Benjamin Crump. Another gentleman, I don't know what his name is. He spoke earlier, but you'll see. And I'm going to comment on all these at the end.
To our top story tonight, the violent traffic stop involving William McNeil Jr. has sparked outrage nationwide.
Today, for the first time since the incident went viral online, William spoke publicly about what happened that day in February.
And basically, what I was taught is to, instead of fighting them on the street where we don't have power at, fight them in the courts.
Amen.
News4Jax reporter Alicia Hatcher was there as he stood alongside his family and civil rights attorneys at a Jacksonville church.
William McNeil Jr. spoke out for the first time right through these church doors, surrounded by his family and civil rights attorneys, briefly sharing what he remembers from that day.
The day I seen that video, I couldn't finish it past the window breaking. It wasn't until maybe a few months ago I finally finished the whole video.
That pain and trauma still fresh for William McNeil Jr.'s mother. Back in February, the 22-year-old college student was pulled over by Jacksonville sheriff's officers.
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
They claimed his headlights weren't on, but what followed was far from a routine stop. On Wednesday, his family joined him at a news conference, visibly shaken as they shared their pain.
It hurt. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he shot right. And he did right. To see that is a hurting feeling.
William also briefly spoke.
That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong.
Civil rights attorneys Ben Crump and Harry Daniels stood with McNeil, condemning the officer's actions.
The sheriff released some videos. And according to William, there's another video, another officer's there. They didn't release this video. Officer had him at gunpoint. So now you're at gunpoint, and they're telling you for not having headlights on, you better answer for a supervisor.
McNeil's attorneys say he was never interviewed by the state attorney's office before the case was cleared, calling for an independent investigation and accountability. Following the news conference, JSO Sheriff T.K. Waters released a statement saying that reads in part, in light of William McNeil Jr.'s public announcement that he has retained counsel, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office will not offer any further comment regarding the circumstances surrounding McNeil's February 19th arrest. Coming up on News4Jax X6, we'll hear more from William and why his attorneys say it's time for justice. For now reporting, Alicia Hatcher, Channel 4, the local station.
Oh, our car's value went up.
Maybe we should track all our cars value on Carvana.
All of them?
Well, there is a
cop or cops smash a black driver's window, brutally attack him. We got the details.
Okay. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be saying things about what they interpret as far as this traffic stop goes. I'm going to say this. Now, you're the expert. Everyone else just has an opinion. You see some lawyers and some attorneys on here talking about what they believe and what they think. I'm going to first of all say that there's a difference between an attorney and a lawyer. A lawyer may or may not have passed the bar, and that's studied up to a point. He can advise you, but he cannot protect you or represent you. The attorney can be both. He can be a lawyer and an attorney, but a lawyer can't be an attorney. Right? So there's a lot of people on here talking. Some of them are family lawyers. Some of them are civil rights lawyers. Very different. Their motivations are a little different. But see, this situation is something I hope that our people understand. And I don't mean just our people as in black. I mean our people as a community, as civilians. I've been on both sides of it. That when you battle and focus on that police officer specifically, you're not fighting him. You're fighting the executive branch of government and the machine that they operate under. As an individual, as a traffic violator, understand that as a driver, that driving is a privilege. It is not a right. That privilege can be suspended or revoked. And specifically in this case, this young man's driver's license was suspended. There's some magic words here. I'm not going to go into that part of it because he got arrested for it, pled guilty to it, so on and so forth. But this is an issue for this young man that I hope other people can learn from. You're not talking to a referee. You're not talking to a school teacher. When you get pulled over, asking for a supervisor, it's not the same. It is just not the same. You listen for these magic words. When a police officer tells you to get out of the car, my suggestion is you ask, is that an order or a request? That makes a difference. You are forcing that police officer to articulate his actions and his intentions. You're forcing him by law. You're making him talk himself in or out of trouble. You hear me? Is that an order or a request? You see, it can do it real smooth, like, hey, can you step out of the car for me? Hey, come here, step out of the car for me, please. Go on, step out of the car. Now he's asking you. If he says, hey, get out the car, and it's an order, it's different. Arguing back and forth will never go well. If you've seen my previous videos before, I said some people will argue and go back and forth, and next thing you know, their windows are getting blown out. You heard the expert say he's well within his rights. Now you move forward a little bit further. After the first officer is an actual arresting officer. The second officer on the passenger side is talking, but he's actually diverting his attention. As he's diverting his attention, they're waiting to get in position. You got a car in front, car behind. You got the officer being real polite. He's telling them, hey, it doesn't matter. It's just going to get worse, right? Don't go back and forth at that time. Do not go back and forth at that time. Then, fast forward a little bit further. Now, as this officer is talking politely on the passenger side, he's diverting the attention of him, and he gives him a nod like, go, right? When he says that, boom, window gets shattered. Next officer's in position. Now, they practice this stuff all the time. They practice it over and over and over. So the first punch, you see the officer that was closest to the front part of the car, the left front quarter panel, that officer, he punches the glass. As soon as the glass gets broken, he can't see, he punches the glass, there's 10 on it, he punches the glass. Now, he punches the guy in the face. That's violent to some people, right? Let me tell you, it depends on how and why it happened. Now, you'll hear the sheriff say, hey, it depends on circumstances. It depends on how the report is written, because articulation is very important. What I mean by that, they say, why'd you punch him? It kept me from shooting him because I couldn't see his hands. Only other option I had, I couldn't spray him because my partner's right there and I hit him too. I couldn't hit him with the baton because I may cause permanent injury, but I could stun him by punching him in the face to get his hands up. Now you understand what I'm saying. Because I done said it 3 or 4 times, he's not listening, right? You hear that? The command presence is part of use of force. They go by use of force continuum. Now people think, oh, he was being polite. No, he wasn't. He closed the door on him, first of all. Then you have different forms of resistance. You have passive resistance and active resistance. Most people are used to seeing active resistance, which means you are actively resisting with force, sometimes with violence, up to and including violence. That's active resistance. Passive resistance is, I'm just sitting there, I'm not doing nothing. Put your hands behind your back, you lock your arms. Get out of the car, you just sit there. That's passive resistance. I wanted to show another part of that where the young man was on stage and when he spoke with Benjamin Crump and the other pastor, I believe he's a pastor, and I got something else to say about when they always go into a black church when they have these kind of situations. It's just a lot of history behind that, but that's for a whole nother story. But again, they're in a church. You got Benjamin Crump there doing his thing. Young man already pled guilty. But I can almost guarantee you that that officer that punched him, not much is going to happen with that first punch. Not much. Most police can understand why. If you've been in those situations, you trained enough, you kind of know why he popped him. It's a stun technique. Not trying to hurt you, I'm trying to get your attention turned the other way. I can't see your hands. Pop! Get your hands up, right? People don't like it, but that's the way that it'll probably be written up. Now, they had an outside agency, from what I understand, investigating. They've already cleared him of any criminal activity. Now it's administrative only, to see if he violated any policy. Some people don't like it, but I'm telling you, I would like to give information to help the people who don't know, the people who go off of feelings. It looks like police brutality, that they believe is police brutality. First of all, I want to give thanks for this young man for being alive, because he put himself in danger in a position where he could have been justified with more force if they can't see his hands. And it ain't but one story to tell after that. You know how it goes. Going back and forth during a traffic stop is not the time to do it. And I've said it over and over and over. Some people think, oh my God, why'd he punch him? Well, unless you've done that job, you know how it goes. Let me tell you something. A lot of bad things happen. And I'm not going to wait for you to do that. I'm not. I heard even an attorney on YouTube was saying, hey, well, people have bad days, this and that. Well, I'm going to tell you what they do. As soon as you bring that subject up, they would bring that officer's calls he's been on, all the violence he's witnessed. It seems like that's a double-edged sword, right? Like maybe that's good or bad for the officer. You can say, hey, well, he shouldn't have been on the street. Or you can say, well, maybe he was over the top and he needed to take a break. But I know for a fact that police, when you cross the line, it doesn't matter if the traffic stop was invalid initially. If he believes that it's valid and he can prove that, hey, I believed it was valid, that's not the time for you to go back and forth with that officer about the initiation of a traffic stop. I hear a lot of people talking about what's called the evidentiary rule. Evidentiary rule means that anything from a poisonous tree, if the initial part of the traffic stop is illegal, and everything else after that is illegal. That's rules of evidence. Rules of evidence, not use of force. See, you can remove the taint by being non-compliant. If the police officer's actions initially are wrong, you can remove the taint by resisting and being non-compliant. You can remove the taint by being non-compliant. That's something you have to understand. See, the first part doesn't matter if and when you already know that resisting opens a door. And now the police at that point have a wide range. They have a wide range of discretion of what they can and can't do. You just open that door for them. You just open that door for a lot of things to happen. That's not really what you really need. You don't need that. You don't need that. That's something I really hope that people understand. And I wanted to show that other part where he was at the church and he was hugging on to his mama. He got a stepfather there, but you can see it doesn't matter if you got a two-parent household or not. It depends on who the steward is over your life. See, I can show another video where a lady did the same thing in a whole nother state, but she didn't want to get out of the car. They shattered her window, but they moved out of the car slowly. This is a young man. You can't act and get away with the same thing a woman can get away with. Now, they shattered the window, but you can get a little more action, a little more aggression with that. You got to understand a man's presence is a threat already. A man's presence is a threat the whole time. So he has to act like a man. Now, I'm going to quote something from a man they call Andre Taylor. He was in a documentary in 1998. Very controversial kind of guy. But I'm going to tell you this. He said one thing. No matter what goes on, you have to be a man. You have to be a man. You have to. So for Andre Taylor, I'm going to use that and hopefully it resonates with a lot of people. For all the people who think they can raise a young man and teach him how to be a man, only true men, not males, can show a young man how to be a man. They're the only ones that can teach him how to do that. They're the only ones. So again, I'm going to reiterate. When the police are talking to you and they say get out of the car, they have some rights. If they feel like it's unsafe or you being unsafe, Philadelphia versus Mims is case law, which allows people to, or allows a police officer to articulate if he feels unsafe to get you out of the car. And it's not a request, it's an order. And if you refuse to do that, they can do it by force, i.e. Tyreek Hill. Same thing. A traffic stop can turn into something much, much more if you allow it to. And it's really based on you and your actions. They respond and react to what you do. That's something we got to understand. If the police officer is wrong from the beginning, the evidentiary rule only applies to rules of evidence under the Fourth Amendment as far as that part goes. It does not apply to use of force. See, resisting arrest, even if the first part's illegal, if the police officer can articulate, hey, I believe that what I was saying was true and it was lawful, then I'm telling you now, when you do that, that resisting arrest will stand. It will stand. The only time you argue is in the courtroom. And you heard at the end of the tape, the young man said it. He said, look, I learned not to fight or argue about it inside on the street, but in the courtroom. Well, it's too late. You already fucked that up. If you love your son, and a male in general, understand this. When them young males do that kind of stuff, they have to understand their presence as a male is always a threat. It's always a threat. So as a threat, when they do that, you have to be polite, courteous, and ask. If that's the situation, you ask them, hey, is that an order or a request? Now, if the police officer tells you it's an order, get out of the car. The magic words to the police, when they say that, when they're getting you out of the car, the magic words are, you're under arrest. That's called manifesting his purpose. Now, when he manifests his purpose, he says, hey, get out of the car, and that happens, understand one thing for sure. It's about to go bad. Because anything you do after that is resisting. Now, the arrest title is called resisting arrest. But that resisting arrest means search, transport, any part of that arresting period, which they call the twilight stage, any part of that arresting period is a problem. When you start resisting, it's a problem. They can do whatever is objectively reasonable to get you in custody. Now, it looks like, the questionable punch was the second one. I don't know what the police officer is doing, but really they got to measure and see what the police officer wrote, the one that threw the second punch. The punch once he had his hands behind his back. Now, if the young man stood up and locked his body, that's called passive resistance. It looked like he's sitting there complying, but I don't have my hands on him, and I know how people play games sometimes. I don't know if that's what he's doing or not. But the police report, when they do it, is going to be very important on how they operate that and what it really means. It's going to be very, very important, very, very important. So we'll see how that goes. Now, if you have any questions, please holler back at me. Let me know. I really want to see what y'all think. I'm hoping that some of this information I'm giving y'all will be helpful. And I know for a fact, I'm going to give you an example. Before I even go, let me say this. Never, ever go back and forth with a police officer doing a traffic stop. Right or wrong, don't do it. Because, see, profile is not illegal. Racial profile is illegal. But see, when they arrest somebody or pull somebody over, it could be a pretext stop. But it's not if he could pull you over, it's could he pull you over. What I mean by that, if you're black, will he pull you over? Maybe. But can he pull you over because of a traffic violation? Now, there's, in Texas, there's over 800 something odd traffic violations. They can use those to pull you over and find other stuff. That's just what goes on. Which means you can't argue that at that time. Even if that initial traffic stop is valid, your non-compliance opens the door for them to do other things. You might miss the first part, but you open the door for the second part to be real bad. And the only time it's racial profiling is considered that is when they miss. They found dope, something they described as a knife. He was non-compliant. His license was suspended. Refused to show his driver's license. Refused to show his registration. All those little things that could be a problem later. And see how that snowballs a slippery slope. So it starts out up here, and then all of a sudden it starts crashing down. And that's something that we really got to understand. Those things are really not good. They're not good at all. Not good at all. So yeah. Please, if you have any questions, please hit me up on Ask Our Podcast. We'll do that. And till next time, peace.
Sir, yes, sir. Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit. Because I am hard, you will not like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn. I am hard, but I am fair. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless. And my orders are to weed out all non-hackers who do not pack the gear to serve in my beloved corps. Do you maggots understand that? Sir, yes, sir. Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sir, yes, sir.